Hey you, welcome to the channel, and this video is my Premier League predictions game week 5. Game week 4 was an exciting weekend full of interesting results. Chelsea fans are still wondering how everything unfolded at the GT Community Stadium, while Arsenal got a 3-0 comfortable victory over Nottingham Forest, and while Liverpool also managed to get a 1-0 victory over Burnley in game 4, whilst Manchester City also got a 3-0 victory on their city rivals Manchester United. Going into this game 5, I'm looking out for spot on predictions. My name is Andy Final. If you're new here, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and comment your thoughts and your predictions at the comment section. I'll be there to interact with you. Without wasting much of your time, let's get started with the game 5 predictions. Yes, so starting off the game with 5 predictions at Anfield is between Liverpool versus Everton. This is a Merseyside derby, and going into this game, Liverpool is coming from a 1-0 victory they got in game 4 against Burnley, and while Everton too is coming from a 0-0 draw against Aston Villa in game 4. So far so good. 4 games into the season, Liverpool is the only team with 100% record, 12 points out of 4 games, and well, talking about Everton too, they have 7 points out of 4 games, and Everton is now 6th on the league table. What do I think is going to happen in this game? Let's talk about Liverpool in their last game against Burnley. So far, going into that game, I predicted Liverpool was going to get like 4-1 victory over Burnley, but I think because of the international break, a lot of players were stressed and they were tired. You can see the entire Liverpool team was tired, but well, they got what they needed, they got the necessary 3 points, and they won over Burnley. And going into this game, they will be coming from a Champions League fixture against Atletico Madrid. So I think this game will be a very difficult game for Liverpool, and I think Everton going into this game, so far so good, 7 points out of 4 games. They are also in good shape, and going into this game will be a difficult game. I will not be shocked if this game ends in a 0-0 draw, but my prediction for this game, I'm predicting Liverpool to get a 2-1 victory over Everton. Liverpool 2, Everton 1. Moving on to the next game at the American Express Stadium, popularly known as the Amex Stadium, is between Brighton versus Tottenham Hotspur. This is going to be an interesting clash in game 5. Talking about Brighton, so far 4 games into the season, they have only 4 points and they are now 13th on the Premier League table. Talking about Tottenham Hotspur, this season they started really well and they have 9 points out of 4 games. In their last game they played in game 4 was against West Ham United at the London Stadium, and they managed to get 3 points, 3 goals over West Ham in game 4. Whilst Brighton also in game 4 lost 2-1 to AFC Bournemouth. Going into this game, what do I think is going to happen at the American Express Stadium? Brighton will be hosting Tottenham Hotspur. I think so far, looking at how good Tottenham Hotspur's team has become, I think this is going to be a very difficult game for Brighton. Despite they've not had a very good start of the season, but I think as the season continues, they will become good. But going into this game, I'm predicting Tottenham Hotspur to get a 3-2 victory over Brighton. Tottenham Hotspur 3, Brighton 2. Yes, moving on to the 12th more is between Burnley versus Nottingham Forest. This is going to be a crucial game for both two teams. So far so good, 4 games into the season, and Nottingham Forest have only 4 points and Burnley also have 3 points. Both teams are not on the good side of the table, they are all at the bottom part of the league table. Well, in game 4, Burnley lost 1-0 to Liverpool, whilst Nottingham Forest also lost 3-0 to Arsenal. They all play big teams in game 4, and going into this game at the 12th more in game 5, what do I think is going to happen? Can Nottingham Forest with their new head coach Postecoglou get their first win? Probably yes, because I think Burnley, despite Burnley losing 1-0 to Liverpool, but I think it's because of the tiredness of the international break. most of these Liverpool players went for international break, and you can see that they were really tired. That was why they didn't get enough goals, or they didn't score more goals against Burnley, because Burnley in that game were not so good, but well, Liverpool couldn't take their chances because of fatigue and tiredness. And going into this game, in game 5, Burnley will be hosting Nottingham Forest. What is my score prediction? I'm predicting this game to end in favor of Nottingham Forest. My prediction is Nottingham Forest 3, Burnley 1. Yes, moving on to the next game at the London Stadium is between West Ham United versus Crystal Palace. This is going to be a London derby, and so far so good. 4 games into the season, looking at Crystal Palace, they are among the 3 teams who are still unbeaten in the Premier League. In game week 4, they got a 0-0 against the new promoted side Sunderland, whilst West Ham United also lost 3-0 against Tottenham Hotspur in game week 4. Going into this game week 5, what do I think is going to happen at the London Stadium? So far, I don't think West Ham has had a good start of the season. 3 points out of 4 games is not something good to talk about. But I can say for Crystal Palace, really, despite they couldn't score against the new promoted side Sunderland, but I think they've been impressive for this season, and I think they are going to get a result over West Ham United, because the kind of football West Ham are playing are so terrible to the point that I think probably they will end up at the relegation bottom at the end of the season. What is my score prediction going into this game? My prediction is Crystal Palace 2, West Ham United 0. Yes, moving on to the Molineux Stadium in game 5 is between Wolves versus Leeds United. This is going to be an interesting game coming up in game 5. What do I think is going to happen? Looking at both teams, Wolves so far 4 games into the season, and they've managed to lose all the 4 games that they've played in this campaign season. And going into this game against a new promoted side, Leeds United, who has also managed to get 4 points out of 4 games that they've played in this Premier League campaign season. Could Wolves get their first win of the season, or is the new promoted team going to also get a victory or going to get a point in this game? Probably, I think Wolves somehow will become good, because you know they are a very good side, despite they've not had a good start of this season. But I think as time goes on, they will become good. Can they get the results against Leeds United? Probably. Looking at their games in game 4, Wolves lost 1-0 against Newcastle United in game 4, whilst Leeds United also lost 1-0 against Fulham in game 4. What is my score prediction going into this game in game 5? I'm predicting Wolves to get a 1-0 victory over Leeds United. Wolves 1, Leeds United 0. Yes, moving on to the next game at the Old Trafford Stadium is between Manchester United versus Chelsea. This is the game of the week coming up in Premier League game week 5. And going into this game, Manchester United is coming from a Manchester derby that they lost 3-0 against Manchester City, whilst Chelsea too is coming from a London derby they play at the GTEC Community Stadium, and they've got a 2-2 draw against Brentford. Going into this game, what do I think is going to happen? Let's talk about Cole Palmer. Interestingly, Cole Palmer didn't start Chelsea game that they played against Brentford, but he came in around 55th minute, and as a 60th minute, he got his first goal of the season. Come on, let me tell you, Cole Palmer has been the magic, the mixing piece of the puzzle. He has been the player that Chelsea can do without. And going to this game at the Old Trafford Stadium, what do I think is going to happen? With Manchester United, let's talk about United. United play against Manchester City in a derby game in game 4, and you can see the style of play, the pattern of play. He still want to play a system which is not working, and I don't know how long he will continue doing this. And going into this game, talking about a Chelsea team who so far 4 games into the season, they have 8 points out of 4 games. If they won that game against Brentford. By now, Chelsea could have been second on the Premier League table, but it is what it is. They got a 2-2 draw because they rested most of their key players for their Champions League fixture against Bayern Munich. And going into this game at the Old Trafford, what is my score prediction? So far, United is 14th on the league table with just 4 points out of 4 games. And going into this game, what is my score prediction? I'm predicting Chelsea to get a comfortable 3-1 victory over Manchester United. Chelsea 3, Manchester United 1. Yes, moving on to the Craven Cottage in the London derby is between Fulham versus Brentford. This is going to be an exciting clash coming up in game week 5. Talking about Fulham in game week 4 got a 1-0 victory, and Brentford also got a 2-2 draw against Chelsea in game week 4. These two teams, Fulham is now 11th on the Premier League table with 5 points, whilst Brentford is also 4th on the Premier League table with just 4 points out of 4 games in the Premier League. And going into this game, in game 5, what is my score prediction in this game? I'm predicting this game to end in a draw. My prediction is Fulham 1, Brentford 1. Yes, moving on to the next game at the Stadium of Light is between Sunderland versus Aston Villa. So far so good, 4 games into the season, and Sunderland is now 7th on the Premier League table with 7 points out of 4 games. Talking about Aston Villa, they've not had a good start of the season. So far 4 games, they have 2 points out of 4 games, and they are now 19th on the Premier League table. What do I think is going to happen going into this game? Talking about how good Aston Villa was last season, and so far 4 games into the season, and they've not even managed to get a single victory. I think this is going to be a very difficult game for them at the Stadium of Light facing Sunderland, who has also been an impressive team. So far, 7 points out of 4 games for a team who just got promoted into the Premier League. I think they are a very good side, and probably they are going to survive this season in the Premier League. What do I think is going to happen? Could Aston Villa manage to get their first victory of the season? Probably, yes, but I think it will be a very difficult game. My prediction for this game, I could have predicted this game to end in a draw, but I'm giving Aston Villa, despite they are going to the Stadium of Light. My prediction is a 2-1 victory for Aston Villa. Aston Villa 2, Sunderland 1. Yes, moving on to the next game at the Vitality Stadium is between AFC Bournemouth versus Newcastle United. This is going to be an exciting and a very difficult game in game 5. Why am I saying this? Talking about AFC Bournemouth, so far 4 games into the season, and they have 9 points out of 4 games. This is very interesting because nobody predicted that they will become this good, because in the summer transfer they sold most of their key players, and now players like Antoine Semenyo has stepped up and he's taking his movement. He's making the name for himself. Even in game week 4 that they got a 2-1 victory over Brighton like this, he even stepped up and he scored a penalty that got them the victory over Brighton in game 4. Talking about Newcastle United, who so far in the season they've only lost 1 game, they drew 2, and now they've won 1. In their last game they won was against Wolves in game week 4. They got a 1-0 victory over Wolves, and I think it's very good for them because they didn't start well, a couple of draws, and just managed to get their first win of the season. Despite their new signing, Otamendi got his first debut goal for Newcastle United. I think despite they've lost Alexander Isak, I think Otamendi has stepped up and he's going to deliver. Going into this game in game 5 against the AFC Bournemouth team, who has been impressive this season. What do I think is going to happen? Could Newcastle United manage to get a point out of this game? Or at the Vitality Stadium, could the Cherries manage to secure another victory over Newcastle? What do I think is going to happen? My prediction for this game is going to be a draw. I'm predicting AFC Bournemouth 2, Newcastle United 2. Yes, moving on to the last but not the least at the Emirates Stadium is between Arsenal versus Manchester City. This is going to be one of the headline games coming up in Game 4. Arsenal hosting Manchester City at the Emirates Stadium. So far, 4 games into the season, talking about Arsenal, they've managed to get 3 wins out of 4, and now they have 9 points out of 4 games. Talking about Manchester City, they've lost 2 and win 2. And well, in game week 4, Manchester City got a 3-0 victory in a derby game against Manchester United, while Aston also got a 3-0 victory over Nottingham Forest at the Emirates Stadium. This is going to be their second game. This is going to be another home game against Manchester City. What do I think is going to happen? Could Arteta get a victory over Pep Guardiola, or could Pep Guardiola get a victory over Arteta? What is going to happen? Actually, this was so difficult for me to predict who is going to win this game or what is going to happen. But well, I think I have to settle, and this time around, I'm not going to predict a draw. Last season, this game I predicted a draw and it happened. But this time around, I think Arsenal has a better position of winning this game than Manchester City, despite both teams got victories in game week 4. What is my score prediction? My prediction is I'm predicting Arsenal to get a 2-1 victory over Manchester City. Arsenal 2, Manchester City 1. So far so good. This has been my predictions for Premier League game week 5. My name is Andy Final. Thanks for watching this video up to this end. Please kindly like this video. It will help the YouTube algorithm to push my video for so many people to see. Like, comment your thoughts and your predictions. Till we meet in another video. Bye bye for now.